So this is wedged. Not much there. And I'm gonna compare if using a BEC will improve. Which to me, maybe it's not. Yeah. Definitely there's more power going to the servo because in this position earlier, it wouldn't even move. Here, it does move. Press the right, and actually a lot better. Okay, so I would say this is a success. Alright, so this is a sort of a tutorial personal video on what I want to do. What I want to do. Two things. I want to check on my lights, but that's not important. But why you're watching this is probably because of this. This is the BEC. It says here hobby wing. I don't know if it's a real hobby wing, but maybe it is. BEC stands for BEC stands for battery eliminator circuit. Maybe U is universal. You can correct me. I don't know. I'm the RC noob. But essentially this is a voltage regulator. So that's not going to be very hard to understand. Why do I need that? And why do you need it if you're crawling or if you want the best for your RC for that matter? Let me take off a lot of this or all of this. Right now, okay, set this aside. So this is my receiver, and I'm putting it on kind of like a balloon. Although I waterproof the electronics inside, but I want to be safer. Right now I'm using 2S. I have a 3S coming up, but right now this is a 2S 7.4 volts, 1500 milliamperes. And I will not take it now, but I'm using, I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm using this cheap 60 ampere ESC that works okay, works a lot better than what I was previously using, which is this, which I turned into a winch controller. So it's a 60 amp ESC, and it only outputs for BEC. It has a built-in BEC, and it outputs 5 volts, 2 amperes, I think. And I'm using my servo. My servo is there. My servo is 1181 metal geared JX PDI, or maybe a copy. I'm not sure, but it's cheap, so maybe it's a copy, maybe it's not. Anyway, it works okay, except of course the reason why you want the BECs is this. If I can explain this, and if my explanation is bad, then you can correct me. So you have a battery, and it goes through the ESC, and the ESC has a built-in BEC, or let's just call it a regulator, so that your 7.4, the input going to the ESC, will be outputted to your receiver with either 5 volts or 6 volts. And this receiver, actually I don't know, but yeah, okay. So this receiver will accept up to 10 volts. There you go. 4.8 volts, that's for the old nickel metal hydride, I would say, which nobody's using nowadays, I think. And up to 10 volts, so you can use a 9 volts here, but you can't use a 3S battery. There you go. So the battery 7.4 volts, it goes through the ESC. The ESC will have a built-in regulator, or BEC, and that goes into your channel 2, of course, because of ESC. And that gives power not only to the ESC but to the receiver, and then the receiver will in return give power to any of the other accessories or motor that you put into any of its channel. That's very simple, huh? So for example, in my case, I will use a winch, and that winch will draw power from the receiver, but the receiver is getting power from the ESC. In my case, what I want is I want a stronger servo. My servo will take at least 6 volts, but my ESC will only output 5 volts. And so you're not getting the optimum power for your servo if you're not using a BEC. But not only that, in normal circumstances, 5 volts for this servo is enough. But when you're wedged on a rock, like in the video I will include here for demonstration, you won't get maneuverability because you don't have enough amperage or current going to your servo when it needs it most. Plus, when you're riding, if you're not into crawling, but when you're riding and you're turning at the same time, you will notice that your speed is decreased because the voltage drops to your motor because it has to give current to your servo. If you have a BEC, that means that the ESC will get its power from the BEC, and in turn here you can connect this directly to the battery, and the ESC can also be connected directly to the battery or with a separate battery, and then you will have separate battery or separate power source, or at least separate connections directed to one battery for your ESC and for your servo, which I intend to do. So for this demonstration, I have prepared this. This is simply, because I'm using JST for all my rigs, this is simply a battery Y connector, or a splitter if you want to use a splitter. So it's a simple build. I'm sure you know how to get this. What you want, essentially, this is the battery. Of course you can't see it. So this is the battery. You want to put that here, and essentially you have 2 outputs for your battery. In this case, what I'm gonna do, one output will go to the BEC that will power my receiver, and the other output will go to my ESC, which will power the motor without running through the power in the receiver. But so this is the BEC. Let me verify. Yeah. So this is the BEC, and as you know, the the ESC will have 3 wires. You have the ground or negative DC, you have the positive, the red wire, and then you have the signal wire. This could either be yellow, like in this case, yellow, or white in this case. Since you don't need the BEC of the ESC, sorry about the lingo, but that's how it is, you don't need to supply your receiver with the voltage coming from your ESC. So what you just need is a ground and the signal wire, and you don't need this wire. So what you want to do is either cut it off, or what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pry it out and take it out and reserve it for future use. Let me see if I can do that now. So there's a plastic tab that keeps the pin in place, and you just need to lift a little bit of the plastic tab, and I'm talking about, of course, the red wire there, and an X-Acto knife, or in this case a cutter knife, will work. Just be careful, of course. Okay, so lift it up and pull it. So now you're not going to supply your whatever battery you're getting from your ESC into your receiver. So just fold it like that, and of course I want to tape it in place. So now what you're left with for this plug is your signal wire, which is white or yellow, and your ground wire, which is black. Okay, and that's about it. Since I've already made my splitter, which is a simple case, simple build. So this is the battery. It's now connected. Oops. What is this? And it's now connected to that. And now you want to connect your ESC to your battery, or you can have a different battery for your ESC and a different battery for your receiver and servo. So you can connect now your ESC, and do it. There you go. And then this is my BEC. I can connect it to the power, but before I do that, you connect everything back again. So this is the winch. Okay, but before the winch, let me connect everything. So this is now the modified plug from the ESC. As usual, you still put it in second channel or channel 2. And then this is, this is my servo, channel 1. This is channel 3, which is my switch for the 2-speed. And then this is my servo, my winch controller, which I use channel 6 for. Okay, but before that, since this is 6 channel, I'm gonna put my BEC. As you will notice, it has no signal wire. It only gives 6 volts power. In this case, it's switchable. You can use 5 volts or 6 volts. In this case, this is a jumper. I am using 6 volts. And you just put it in any of the channel. In this case, I'm gonna use channel 5 for that, or channel 4, because those channels are both free. And then my winch is there. I still have one channel, channel 4, which probably I'm gonna use for the lights, turning on and off. So there you go. Now you have your receiver. The ESC is right there, and the BEC. The ESC is directly connected to the battery, and if I turn it on, the BEC will turn on, but there's no power to the receiver. So if I turn on the receiver, nothing happens. What you have to do is, of course, plug this to a battery source. And this is the BEC now. And now you have source for your battery. So I can control first the motor, no problem, or my servo. All stuff working. Yeah. Okay, winch. Okay, no problem there. Get the winch. No problem. So that's my servo now. It should be getting a lot more juice. It's now running on 6 volts. and hopefully this would eliminate decrease in power when running the motor and the servo at the same time, and it will also increase the power of the servo. I should be getting the maximum power, which is about 3.5 kilogram per centimeter. I'm gonna test it, and we'll post the video comparison later. Bye bye. What I did here is I modified my battery splitter. So this goes from to the battery and then to the splitter. Of course, one is to the BEC and the other is to the ESC, and then directly wired a switch so that it will cut off the battery source, so that it will both turn on and off the ESC and the ESC at the same time. So what I did is I basically just take off the on and off switch of my ESC, and I put them together into constant on because I'm not gonna use that switch anymore, and I just will reuse the switch for the battery.